Hi, this is Eric Metcalf, and you're watching the Unhappy Hour.
Broadcasting to you live from the Milky Way Galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, California, Los Angeles to be specific. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Unhappy Hour, a sports show and a support group. My name is Brian Engelman. I am your host, as I have been for the past 7+ years here with the New American Media. I want to thank you for participating in all of this interesting journey that we have been on. Today we're going to do a quick show. We're going to talk about a developing story in the sports world. Saw this and obviously had to kind of stop and discuss it. Buffalo Bills running back LeSean McCoy has just been accused of some pretty atrocious stuff, and we need to kind of break it all down, give an overview of what we know about how the NFL handles some of these situations and how they have handled them in the past. Both correctly or incorrectly, and all of this is debatable, I suppose. But this is a league that suspended Josh Gordon for having a beer in the offseason. So let's put this into perspective. Obviously, you have stories like Aaron Hernandez and Ray Caruth where they murdered people and got kicked out of the league. And then situations where Dante Stallworth was able to hit and kill a person in his car, but he's back playing for, the Browns, then the Ravens right afterwards. So most recently, Ezekiel Elliott and a few other situations, Jameis Winston. We're going to bring in Greg Moore. He was on last night. We were talking about the Cavs and LeBron and the WNBA and Damian Lillard's comments, but we're going to break this all down in further detail. But first, I want to say, if you are not in our group, this is the camera I'm looking at right here. This is our Facebook group. The Unhappy Hour Sports Show, a support group. Invite your friends, Indians, Cavs, Browns, and Buckeyes, all welcome. We're keeping the group private for now. We want the right kind of people in here covering these stories. If you're watching on this camera, it's on YouTube, youtube.com/TheNewAmericanMedia. Link up, do this thing. If you're the YouTube people, jump on Facebook. If you're the Facebook people, jump on YouTube. And both of you, please link up with Instagram.com/TheUnhappyHour. My history with LeSean McCoy and Ray Rice has a personal perspective, has a personal meaning to myself. I was able to beat up on the competition and win my fantasy football league with Ray Rice and LeSean McCoy as my running backs. And, Ray Rice obviously was booted from the league after the video surfaced of him knocking his girlfriend or fiance or wife, I forget what stage they were at, but knocking her out in the hotel elevator. And now the accusations against LeSean McCoy. It's just, for me, if you're a fantasy football player and you haven't won a championship yet, as soon as you do, you're going to remember the players on your team. You're going to remember the season. It's going to hold a special place. And for me, I got this LeSean McCoy bum. All these allegations from today aside, writhing around on the ground and stretching and clowning during the national anthem last year. To protest our president? Ridiculous. I lost all respect for LeSean McCoy last year when he was rolling around like a clown on the ground instead of standing at attention showing a little bit of respect for the country and the people that have fought and died for it. However, with these allegations, I want to caution that everybody in America is innocent until proven guilty. I think especially with accusations of domestic abuse, there is a tendency lately to go the opposite route, where you're guilty until proven innocent. And that's not what America was founded on. Everybody is entitled to their investigation, their day in court, and the right to a self-defense. And I don't think that people should be terminated from their job and lose their earning potential on an allegation. I think that's garbage. And I don't like this witch hunt thing that's going on. I don't like the scarlet letter thing that's happening, burning people at the stake before they've even had a chance to defend themselves. So I'm urging a little bit of caution. However, these pictures look disgusting. They look brutal. They look horrible. So anyway, that's a lot to unpack, but that's kind of why I brought Greg Moore into the conversation. Greg, we've kind of talked about the NFL. On this program, on the Unhappy Hour, we've talked about the NFL and their weird way of doling out discipline over the past few years, with Roger Goodell especially. Maybe, can you walk us back a little bit? Obviously, Ray Rice was the big story that kind of put the NFL in a really rough situation because of how they handled/mishandled that. And then maybe now there's a little bit of an overcompensation. Just kind of walk us through some of the suspensions we've seen from the NFL players over the past 5 years or so. I think there's a lot to unpack for the past 5 or 10 years, the past 3 years especially.
I mean, it actually dates back like 12 years when Goodell became commissioner. And that's when he started his personal conduct policy after, I believe, a bunch of Bengals got arrested. like Chris Henry, Adam Pac-Man Jones, stuff like that. And it's just, I guess, to hold NFL players more responsible for their actions. And like you said, though, a lot of it is none of these people some of them were not convicted. It was just allegations. And it's, especially with Ray Rice, they spent for 2 games and then this video comes out and the NFL just looked terrible for it because they didn't do their full due diligence. So I think they jumped the gun on certain things like Ezekiel Elliott and stuff. I mean, he was never convicted as well. But I mean, you have people like, there's serious, like you said, accusations, offenses, excuse me, like Aaron Hernandez, Ray Caruth, but then you got and Michael Vick, Dante Stallworth. But then you have Ben Roethlisberger was never convicted of sexual assault, but he still had 4-game suspension. Who else we got here? Ndamukong Suh. That was for just stomping on someone's arm. But I mean, this is all personal contact stuff.
Yeah, well, Ndamukong Suh was doing the Draymond Green style of I have no sportsmanship and I'm a wrecking ball. They can't even follow the most basic rules.
With child abuse. That was 8 games, I believe.
Adrian Peterson, with the beating his kid with the switch.
And then Greg Hardy, but he was never convicted because his accuser never showed up in court. So, I mean, and then, like you said, you have Martavis Bryant and Josh Gordon for substance abuse, which I feel like those suspensions are longer than actual physical abuse. So it's an odd policy. Like, I know the NFL doesn't want to have a black eye, pardon the pun, but it's not. I don't know. These aren't all criminals. And then because this stuff happens and you have media attention for it, these accusers come out. I mean, like today, I feel it looks like this lady. We don't know all the facts, but it looks like this girl went to Instagram before even the police.
Yeah, and let me walk through a little bit of this here because. The Ezekiel Elliott situation, as a Ohio State Buckeye fan myself, I followed that pretty closely. And, Zeke, there was an investigation. People did look into stuff, and charges were not filed, but the NFL still suspended him. And you're going, at what point are you getting punished for something that you're not getting punished for? And at what point can any person who doesn't like you just throw accusations at you to harm you? These things do happen. So let me go through this with a Bleacher Report. I could have pulled up any of these articles. They're all over the place today, but I just want to get the kind of what we know or what we think we know, and then we can fill in the gaps with where we might not know what's going on. The photo of a severely bruised and bloody woman was posted on Instagram Tuesday, and the accompanying caption accused Buffalo Bills running back LeSean McCoy of assaulting the woman in the photo alongside accusations of animal abuse, child abuse, and drug and steroid use. Diana Rossini of ESPN.com reported the Bills are aware of the accusation and investigating them. McCoy denied the allegations in a tweet saying, "For the record, the totally baseless and offensive claims made against me today on social media are completely false. Furthermore, I have not had any direct contact with any of the people involved in months." So the post that went out showed severe facial injuries to Delicia Corden, allegedly McCoy's girlfriend, and Corden's friend, the woman who posted the images on Instagram, made several serious charges. And by the way, before I go any further, yes, go ahead, leave your comments in the Facebook group. Zach Wilson is saying, I saw the pictures. If he did that, then that piece of blank needs to be kicked out of the league and thrown in prison. Yes, I agree. Tim Jeffrey Williams saying, McCoy better hope it's fake news. Absolutely. Christopher Ford, who has LeSean McCoy in our Dynasty League, saying, I hate you all. Chris Christophic saying guilty because hashtag I got Ivory. So he's got the backup to him, obviously, in the Dynasty League with us. And then Robert Carr saying, how does anyone know if he is the one that did this? Women lie. Everyone lies. Of course, anybody in the world can lie. So it's very important that we press pause and think this one through. Remember that just a couple of weeks ago, we saw images of children in cages, and Trump is literally Hitler. And it turns out it's a fake photograph staged so that it was like a little partition of a fence, and kids were pretending they were behind cages, and they put that picture out to show that this monster president is treating human beings like animals. What a Hitler. And other pictures of a child reaching out and crying. She's been separated from her parents. That story never happened. So when we are fed images that elicit feelings of rage, And I would go out on a limb to say that if you see a beat up picture of a woman with a bloody face and swollen eye and blood crusted all over her face, I would imagine that should elicit rage from people. However, we don't know the details of this yet. What were you going to say, Greg?
Well, here's the thing. So, when even with back in the day before there was social media, like a newspaper run a story, but the retraction would be on the last page. So you see the bad story, and then say this all comes out to be false. Well, we'll get more play. This will get more play than the actual retraction. So
no, that's
how it works.
It's a very good point, Greg. And the other phrase is, "If it bleeds, it leads." Right. That's what sells newspapers. But anyway, back to this Bleacher Report thing. The several serious charges. It says to accompany this picture, it says, quote, "We didn't say anything about how you beat your dog Henry into kidney failure. Let's not talk about all the times my best friend had to stop you from viciously beating your son for small things like peeing in the bed. We kept quiet about your drug usage, all the illegal steroids and needles you were using." Okay, I don't think needles are illegal. "But we will not keep quiet about this. I can't believe you did this to my best friend." And so this was alongside the picture of the beat-up woman. So, obviously, this is now the kitchen sink theory. This isn't just, look what LeSean McCoy just did to my best friend. You also beat up your kid because he peed in the bed. You also beat up your dog. You also take steroids. You also once picked up your dog and pushed it around the living room and pretended it was a vacuum cleaner when you were 10 years old. Like this is serious, like someone making every kitchen sink argument that you can make to accuse and defame somebody. Now, all of these things might be true. And if so, McCoy's a dirtbag and needs to be booted out of the league. But what I'm saying is there needs to be an investigation. I don't think you can just jump to conclusions because some best friend of some lady made a couple of accusations against you. It gets down here at the bottom. It says here, TMZ Sports, meanwhile, has reported that EMTs responded to a home near Delicia's address early Monday morning, although they would not reveal details about the situation. Per that report, LeSean and Delicia have had a contentious relationship for a while. According to docs obtained by TMZ Sports, McCoy went to court in June, just a couple weeks ago, seeking to get a judge's order forcing her to move out of a home that he owns in Alpharetta, Georgia. McCoy allegedly had friends, family members, and other crew attempt to have Corden's items removed from the house while she was gone in late May, although Corden called the authorities on them. McCoy then allegedly cut the electricity to the house. So McCoy, 29 years old, is entering his 10th NFL season and has played for the Eagles and the Bills. So, if you're looking at the TMZ Sports component of this story, you've had the allegations. We understand the allegations. It goes from bad to bad to bad to bad to bad. They're all bad. It all looks bad. TMZ Sports, for the tabloid nature of who they are and what they do, you got to look at the track record. And TMZ Sports has done some pretty incredible reporting over the years. And, I don't see TMZ or TMZ Sports and dismiss what they're saying. I see it and go, okay, well, let's see what they have to say. I don't believe any of these reports until we can get to the information and dig around on the case. But, I mean, if this is somebody that LeSean has had a contentious relationship with for a while, and just a couple weeks ago got a judge's order forcing her to move out of the home that he owns, there's a lot to this story to unpack. And as much as I did, you're not going to find people who loved LeSean McCoy more than me, because he helped me win my first fantasy football championship, to someone who disliked LeSean McCoy as much as me because he's a total jerk for doing what he did, disrespecting our anthem on the field, rolling around like a total asshole. So I've loved this guy, I've really disliked this guy, and now I'm just trying to urge us all to press pause, step back, and investigate these claims like we should, instead of just going on a McCarthy-era communist witch hunt with this. I don't know. What do you think about all this, Greg?
Well, the accusations, too, is like she hit every major accusation there's been in the NFL in the last couple of years. I mean, child abuse, drug use, animal abuse, and domestic violence. I mean, like you said, he's really a shady guy, pardon the pun again.
Yeah.
But, it's all packaged into one, or she's like, oh, I guess I can just do all these. There's two ways looking at it. I mean, like we said, it's early in the story. We know what's going on. Either he's really a dirtbag, or she just went for the whole, like you said, kitchen sink of accusations, hoping that one will stick.
Yeah, and like I said, at this point, I don't know Delicia. I didn't even know that was a name until I read this story. I don't know her friend. I don't know LeSean personally. I don't know his reputation necessarily, other than being a jerk during the national anthem. I do give a little bit of credence to TMZ Sports. That's a site that generally does homework and investigative studies. Like I said, though, I'm not believing TMZ Sports, but I'm going to continue researching the story to find out what we have here. So, I just there's been a lot of accusations over the years. Jameis Winston with a recent one. It's like you can't turn on the unhappy hour. You can't log into the unhappy hour or open the newspaper or click on your social media profile without seeing stories every other week, every month about people getting in trouble for extracurricular activities in the NFL, especially. I don't know if it's because of the violent nature of the sport. I don't know. But I think as a culture, we need to be careful to not tar and feather people until they've had their day to go through the information. I think everybody's entitled to a defense. And as much as I want to dislike LeSean McCoy, and I do, I want to get some more information before I nail him to a cross and make an example out of him. Because I don't know what happened. His claim was, I haven't seen these people in months. Now, he's not saying I didn't do this. Maybe that picture is from a few months ago. There could be 100 angles to this story, Greg. So,
right.
Because we got to kind of keep this short here. And if you have any more comments, also go ahead and type them in the group. Chris Ford is saying #trade Ivory? Question mark.
Yeah, making some fantasy trades in the chat already.
Yeah, I know. I got my fantasy football crew. What can I say? Well, that's what happens in a dynasty league. I drafted Jameis Winston. I knew he had talent, but I knew he was a head case. So now he's suspended. It's like, well, that's what I get for drafting a low-character guy. Great. Good job, Brian. But anyway, he's saying performance-enhancing drugs also, and that he'll play this year, and he might. But what do you make of what you expect the NFL to do here? Do you think the NFL is going to provide a proper investigation, or do you think they're going to jump the gun and suspend him before he even has a chance to have his day and hear out the evidence and the defense and the accusations against him? What's your gut telling you? What do you think?
I mean, based on their track record last year, especially like Ezekiel Elliott, I think they're going to jump the gun and do something. I don't know. Like I feel like Jameis Winston, they did some investigation into that. I mean, it's the off season, so I guess they may have more time to investigate. So we'll see. But my gut is that they would jump the gun on this. And I'm sure they're all over it right now. But
yeah, they're working.
I wouldn't be surprised if he got suspended for something. Like I said, there's 4 major allegations there. So
yeah, and like I said, the Simpsons line about it's also an allegation you once picked up your dog by its hind legs and pushed it around the living room like a vacuum cleaner. Like, I was 10 years old. Your permanent record has everything, Mr. Simpson. It is the kitchen window theory, but it raises a lot of questions. Would I be accurate in saying, Greg, that you would support suspending this guy if these accusations prove to be true, right? Like, if this pans out as accurate, suspension would be warranted, right? Oh, did I just lose you? Are you still there, Greg?
Oh,
there
sorry.
you go.
I hit mute. I apologize. Any domestic violence automatic 6-game suspension, anyways. So, yes,
if they're actually found guilty,
correct. Which is odd because Ezekiel, we talked about this, was never found guilty. Correct.
So that leads me to believe that there is no policy, and it's totally random based on how many pitchforks and torches will people have outside of the NFL. Oh, I got a protest today. I'm going to block the streets. And #MeToo. And it's like, just can we investigate this before we jump to any conclusions here?
See, the problem, the NFL is going to look bad either way. It's such a popular sport that even if they mess it up, it's going to look bad. So I'm not defending the NFL at all, but take the time, investigate it, and get it right, so you don't look foolish for suspending people for nothing.
Yeah.
So.
Well, look, I think we are in agreement that we want the NFL to do a proper investigation, and that if he is guilty of the allegations, then a severe punishment should occur.
Correct.
And our gut instinct says that we expect the NFL to do something stupid and ruin a person's opportunity to earn their living without having been proven guilty of anything. And that's very un-American. You know, for LeSean McCoy, you know, for LeSean McCoy, the complete clown who decided to roll around and stretch his legs out and twist around during the national anthem during a Buffalo Bills game in protest of President Trump, because now protesting the American flag is cool. For LeSean McCoy now to have to lean on the American values of innocent until proven guilty is delicious. It is such a contrast for everything that this jerk wants to complain about this country for everything he wants to protest and just act a fool. It's that same system and it's the same country that's going to allow him the ability to mount a robust defense and assume that he's innocent until proven guilty. So I find it very interesting that this horrible place that LeSean McCoy cannot stand, and he can't even burden himself with standing at attention for 60 seconds during the national anthem to show a little bit of respect. He's going to benefit from the American system of guilty until proven innocence. The jurisprudence, the legal benefits of being in America, this guy is now going to benefit from, except that he has a tyrant running his, what is it? His league, his place of employment is run by Roger Goodell that just throws darts at the dartboard and suspends people even if they haven't been proven guilty. It's an interesting merging of situations here, and it's a case that makes me sick to see any picture of a woman all bloody and beaten up and swollen and looks like they've been used as a punching bag. I don't think anybody wants to see that. But everybody's due their day in court. So let's see how this story plays out, Greg. I'm sure we're going to post the updates in the Unhappy Hour Sports Show, a support group. Link up with us. Follow us there. Greg's on Twitter, although he's not using it as much, but he's at Greg Time. At Greg Time on Twitter. Follow him there. We're at American_media_. But you can follow Greg on Facebook. What are you, just Gregory Moore on Facebook, if people want to follow you there?
Gregory Moore.
Gregory Moore. All right, buddy. Any final words from you on our way out the door? I know we got to cut this one short today.
No. Let's I just want to jump into any judgments yet. I'm sure as the day goes on, we'll get some updates here, and maybe later tonight we'll find something out. So,
okay. Sounds like a plan, man.
Yeah. So
that's
all I got.
You have a wonderful day. Thanks for joining us, and let's see how this one shakes out. It looks terrible, but like we saw with this kids in cages thing, mass manipulation through media and through social media especially, let's all just press pause and hold our horses, and let's really investigate to make sure that what we're getting outraged about is actually a thing. That's all I got to say about it. So, Greg, you have a great day. I'll talk with you again soon. To be continued, good sir.